Hey, good morning. Welcome to Connect Daily Bread. We recognize man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. So I'm out and about. I'm up on campus. So go ahead and read chapter 8 on your own, and I'll just share some thoughts of that. So in chapter 8, Paul's addressing food. And remember, like we talked about yesterday, that he's responding to a letter and some questions that he'd gotten from the church at Corinth. And we can deduce that in that letter, like yesterday was brought up, marriage and sexuality, he responded to those questions. And in this chapter, in chapter 8, he's responding to questions about food, particularly meat that was sacrificed to idols, and whether that was right or wrong. So in Corinth, pagan idolatry was rampant, and meat would be sacrificed to these false gods. And then believers, particularly baby believers, were in a predicament of, am I being disloyal to Christ if I have this? And Paul kind of addresses this. And first he starts with, because there appeared to be some pride and some puffing up about knowledge, about knowing what's right, knowing more than a brother or sister. And Paul just says, hey, knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. And that's what it's all about. He goes on to say that those who love God are known by God. Think about that for a moment. Would you rather have all the knowledge in the world, or to be known intimately, deeply by the creator of this world? And we have that laid before us. That's who we are and what we are in Christ. So there's a clear, takeaway and challenge for us to apply a humility and a love towards brothers and sisters, towards each other, before God. And there's a great blessing that will come out of that, right? It all goes back to love. Greatest commandment: love the Lord your God, all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Disciples are to love each other as Christ loves. And by that, the world will know we are to love those in our life who are yet to be connected to Christ in a way that we're compelled to do whatever it takes to give them a shot at what we found. And so Paul kind of lays out that, begins to unpack, there's really nothing wrong with this, just outright. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing disloyal to Christ, because God is a God of the universe. Jesus is the Lord of this universe, and these idols are really nothing. But he goes to a deeper level, back to love. Man, if this is hurting brothers and sisters, particularly baby believers that have not had their conscience strengthened to a point where they can, in good faith, recognize there's nothing wrong with this, Paul goes on to say, hey, I'll never eat meat again if that's the case. Willing to sacrifice whatever to make sure that love and unity would reign. So that's another clear application for us. Let's strive towards love and a unity that is willing to sacrifice whatever's needed, to not be stumbling blocks to each other, but to really come together in a beautiful way that attracts those outside of Christ to a relationship with Christ and to a relationship with his people. So let's strive towards that today. Let's be intentional and focused, getting after it. Love you deeply. Have a good day.